So I have this thing where I like debate how to start a video. I want to say hi love or like hi friends or something, and then I'm hypercritical of myself saying it. Like I just said hi love. I'm gonna say good morning love, and just roll forth with this. Now, today I would like to talk about hope, and I would like to talk about fear. Earlier today I woke up and I was just laying in bed and I was like, well, I'm up now. Yep, Justin's like sleeping next to me and I was like, here I am. I was just thinking about a lot of things and I'm like, well, I could lay here and think or I could meditate. And my body's like, nah, not now. And I was like, go on a run. And it was like, walk. And I was like, run, walk. And it was like, bed. And so got dressed, took my body on a little like run walk. And it was really nice. And during it, I started just saying affirmations, I started with the ground. I'm grateful for this ground. I'm grateful for my feet. I'm grateful for this rock. I wear these shoes that are like great shoes, but not great for like running on a gravel road. And so I got like rocks in my shoes and I ended up getting this little blister. It hurts, but it's okay. So I learned, but I was like, I'm grateful for this rock to teach me a lesson, and just going on about gratitude for the trees and the ducks and everything. And then when I reached the end of that road, I meditated in the middle of a road for a bit. And for the past, like, not even couple now, like 4 or so mornings, I've been doing like a chakra alignment, kind of Reiki infused thing with myself. Because when we were in Sedona, Arizona, we got our auras read, and I've never had that done before by someone that's, I guess, like not me, but had that done, and one of the things that came up was that my root chakra was just really like disconnected, and I had felt pretty grounded for a while, and so I was like, huh. And then she started talking about my sacral and how overactive it was and how it's like all about walls and like protecting, and how it's probably about like abandonment issues, probably by like a male figure. And I was like, that's funny. And so after that, I was like, okay, I need to start working on my chakras. And so I have been, and I've noticed like massive differences. I have a lot of physical pain, a lot, and that has been really helped. It's like in my shoulders and neck largely, but that's been like helped out, I think, literally just by moving energy, just like moving chi around my body, and so things have been getting a lot better with that. But what I did want to talk about is while meditating, when I was on my sacral chakra, I kind of started getting like, I was just kind of saying like, I release like all these fears and different things, and I kind of got this just like voice of like, well, why don't you look at them? And I was like, because I don't know, I look at them so much, like I just want to put him down and I want him to go away. And it was kind of like this silent knowing of like, well, that's not gonna fucking work. Like, that's not how this works. Like, if you're having an emotional reaction to something, if you're having, fears bubble up, there's a reason, there's a source of that. And if you just keep like suppressing them down, and suppressing them can look like a lot of things, and it can also look like a healthy thing sometimes too, kind of be like veiled as that. Because if, like Justin pointed this out to me once when I was just doing it, when you're constantly, when a fear keeps coming up and coming up and coming up, and you're like, oh, I release this, I release this, I release this, I release this. That's not working. What if you look at it? Like, what if you look at your fear of death? What if you look at your fear of all your loved ones dying? What if you look at, the possibilities that are scary? What if you give them time, like loving attention, instead of just this fear-mongering and really fueling them? Instead of saying like affirmations of terror, what if you look at your fear and, you say some affirmations of hope, some of love, instead of like, I am so scared, I am so scared, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What if you reframe I don't know what I'm going to do into there is an infinite field of possibilities on this blank page that I may write? Being empty, being no thing doesn't mean, it's kind of funny because it's like, just because you're nothing doesn't mean you're nothing. When there's a blank sheet of paper, you don't look at that paper and you're like, oh, that's a waste of space. No, it's an opportunity. If you are able to clear yourself of all of these limiting beliefs and harmful practices, if you're able to give yourself a blank slate to write upon, that's powerful. That's something that can completely transform you, and something that can really provide space to get to the root of these fears. Because, you know, if you feel like you clear yourself, if you get a blank sheet of paper and then suddenly you're writing down the same thing over and over and over again, well, clearly something didn't clear. So what is it? Like, let's look at it. You know, for me, one of my biggest fears is of death and of loved ones dying. I went through a really significant death really early on in my life with my father. And so I had extreme attachment issues to my mother. And, you know, a scenario that would go through my head every day, many times a day, would be her dying. Every day. It would just, all these different ways. And it wasn't even like the her dying that I would micro focus on in it. It was, what would I do after? You know, because I think the not knowing was so scary for me. Because, like, when my dad died, you know, I didn't have any control of that. I was 3 years old. And so suddenly, you know, I didn't know what was going on. And so I took responsibility for it. I said, well, this is clearly mine. So I'm going to hold on to it. And, you know, where it, like, energetically stored in my body, I think different places, but, like, really was in my sacral, really was in this need to have these hard walls of, you know, I don't want to get hurt that bad again. And so it's always been really, really scary for me to love, which is funny because I'm someone that loves incredibly deeply, but still with these fears, these walls. And so I've been working on, you know, like putting them down, like actually putting them down. Saying it, I feel, isn't just working. And so, you know, with actually working with the energy every day, it's been helpful with saying, you know, different affirmations that flow through and feel true. It's been really, really, really helpful, because the beliefs you have right now, they don't have to be the beliefs you have forever. Your programming is not definite. It is not the definition of you. Your programming is not who you have to be. It's who you've been trained to be. You have the ability to deprogram and reprogram yourself. You want to have a belief? Instill it. You want to believe in yourself? It takes practice. I'm going to need you to believe in yourself when you're putting on your shoes, when you're getting in the shower, when you're going for a run. Even if you're able to run 5 steps, you ran 5 steps. You can probably go farther tomorrow. And if not, it's okay, because you're just resting a little bit. Maybe you'll go farther the next day. You know, if you set to something, believe in yourself that you're going to commit to it. Believe in yourself that you're going to take care of yourself. Believe in your ability to control your own mind, to control your actions. You know, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of ways that, you know, others control us. You know, there's mass media programming, there's all these laws put in place and law enforcement officers to enforce them. There's all the programming that we've gotten from our parents and from others who raised us, and from our siblings and from our friends and from our social conditioning and from our country and from everything. You can keep listing it. There is so much programming that we have ingrained into our skull, but it doesn't have to stay there. Just because you were raised to believe something doesn't mean you have to believe in it. Just because you were raised to be afraid doesn't mean you have to be afraid. Why be afraid? Why live your life in fear? Why sit in that? And, you know, sometimes in order to free yourself of it, you need to sit in it. You need to hold space for that fear. You need to listen, you know, like for me, I need to listen to the little girl in my head saying, why isn't daddy coming home? Why is this happening? Like, I'm so scared. I don't know what's going to happen next. Is mom next? And that was a very real fear. That's something that, you know, could have happened. And it hasn't. It's something that will happen. You know, the thing about the fear of death is that it's a rational fear, because we're all gonna die. So, you know, what if we work around the belief of death? What is my belief of death? Why am I scared of death? What about death is scary? It sounds like an end, you know? The way that I perceived it as a child was suddenly dad was here and then he wasn't. And for me, he had already been off in Hawaii for a bit. And so then it kind of instilled this, oh, well, if someone goes off on a trip, if they go away, they just might never come back. You know, that might be it. That might be the end. And it might be the end of their physical vessel, yes. But something that on my run today, I was really cycling over was that energy never dies. You know, like I believe that. I kind of preach that. Energy never dies. Who we really are, it doesn't go anywhere. You know, I've been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. We just finished it, and now we're watching Legend of Korra, and it's so good. And one of the things, you know, it's reincarnation of the Avatar. That energy, that life force essence, that power, that never actually ends. You know, even if we're talking about, you know, physics, if we're talking science, energy does not die. It continues on. It takes new form. And so when our physical vessels, when this body that we call us, when, you know, this body that I say, Cheyenne, oh, I love you so much, I love this vessel, I love this temple, one day this vessel will decay. One day this vessel will return to the earth, and my essence, my being, my spirit of Cheyenne will not reside here, and that is okay. I do not need to live in this body to be immortal. I do not need to live in this body forever to be happy. Everything doesn't have to last forever in order for me to find joy in it. You know, with relationships, you never know how long a relationship with anyone's gonna last. You know, like even literally my father lasted 3 years, and now the relationship is continued in a very different, I don't want to, abnormal, I guess, capacity. You know, his physical body isn't there, but his presence is very much here. And there's been a lot that's gone on with that. That's been like both traumatizing and like really healing. But really the point of it is, you know, and if you're engaged in a romantic relationship with someone, it can be really easy to latch on and be like, they're my forever. They're my soulmate. We're twin flames. Like, we're meant to be together forever. This is just how it is. But the reality that can be kind of hard to look at, especially when you're so deeply present in the love, is that maybe it's not, you know, like maybe you are soulmates, but maybe you're not supposed to be together the entirety of this lifetime. They might die. They might move on, you know, feelings may change. The love could still be there, but maybe you both need to be separate places. And, you know, one of the hardest things about my father's death for me was my mother and her relationship to my father, because I'd been kind of just told this, like, which was true from what I know, it was kind of fairy tale story of just my mom and my dad just falling in love, getting married very quickly, and having a 10-year marriage before having me, and just being so happy and in love. And I was like, wow, if you can find that person, like a love that deep, and have them taken from you, like, I don't know if I want to find it, you know? It's scary, because it's like, what if that love leaves? And I think the biggest lesson of my life has been that love, it doesn't leave. Physical bodies go, but the love's always there. It's always there. It's not going anywhere, and it's worth it. If you get to love for 5 moments and then experience a loss, the love was worth it. And it'll always be worth it. bug friend? Are you a mosquito bug friend? I don't know. All right. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm gonna end it today. What I would like to not even challenge, but encourage you to do is to look at your fears. You know, meditate on them, hold space for them. Just think, what am I afraid of? And think about it. And think, well, why am I afraid of this? What would it mean to put this fear down? Not even forever, Like, what would it mean to look at this, to hear it out, and then just set it on the ground? What would it mean to just have a blank sheet of my being? What would it mean to just be empty, to just hold space and let whatever energy needs to move and flow, because there will be energy that needs to move and flow? What if I just let that go through me? What if I'm just alive in this moment? What if I'm just present? And what do I feel then? What's my mind doing? How does my body feel? What are my toes doing? How does the sun feel? Oh. Lovely.